All
I
right,
mean,
so it's the dig.
yeah, the dig,
The dig.
the dig.
This is Jordan and Wesley. We're from the dig.
I'm Wesley,
I'm Jordan, and
and
this is
this
the
is
dig.
that's perfect. That's perfect. And this is the dig. Wow. We'll add in a sound effect after that.
Yeah,
Like
dude. Heck
perfect.
yeah.
So, I guess we didn't really prepare a list of topics or anything.
Dude, let's just think of like a couple topics and then go off of that and then we can just flow from another into other topics after that.
Yeah. So, like last podcast, we kind of did the same thing too. We started talking about the Olympics.
Oh, I'm down with that. Heck yeah.
Okay, okay, we'll continue that because that was pretty good last time, and
I
I
love
wasn't.
it.
Yeah. So I haven't been watching the Olympics,
I
but
have. I actually watched some of that tonight. With
it's
at my
still
girlfriend's
going on.
house. Yeah, dude. They're just getting
How
started, man.
how long is it going? All week?
I actually don't know exactly how long, but it's going to be going for, I think, a while longer.
Oh, wow.
The bad part about it, though, is it's not even cold enough over there in Russia. It's like 60 degrees and all the snow's melting, so they have to put chemicals on the mountain. Like,
Oh
I
my
think they have to mix water and
god,
salt just to get it to freeze and stay. So, like, the snowboarders aren't even able to really, like, do what they're able to do because it's not, like, actual mountain quality.
dude. Then that's why Shaun White didn't win gold on
Exactly.
halfpipe this year, dude.
Exactly.
That's a bummer.
I
Like
know.
that was gonna be such a like crazy thing to happen in our lifetime to have like this insanely talented snowboarder win like all the awards. That could be like a mark on our history, but damn, I'm
No, it's not
so
fair. It's not fair.
bummed.
Russia just has to fuck us every time.
It's such
So
a why
Russia.
did they pick such a horrible place to put the
I
Olympics?
don't know, man. I don't even want to go over to Russia, dude.
Like it's so
Such a socialistic place. It's ridiculous.
and there's literally the people there are not like they're not advanced.
Oh no.
There's so many parts of Russia that are just learning. They're still hunter gatherer societies that don't have computers and they just use a boat to get everywhere. It's insane.
I know. No,
Yeah.
Russians, man. There's some parts of Russia though that are crazy. Like there's some Russians out there that will fucking eat you, dude. They will eat you alive.
Did you ever see the documentary called wow. There's a the Into the Taiga.
Into the tiger.
The huge I don't know what to call it. It's just a region in Russia called the Taiga where it's just like painfully chilling temperatures. And there's this community that lives in the taiga. There's all they do is hunt and eat and sleep. And it's this documentary. Literally, their day consists of waking up, like sledding out into the taiga and hunting for animals, coming back and eating. And their entire life just consists of that. And they're like apparently just the happiest people in the world because they have no worries besides
Plus,
eating
they're
and
probably
sleeping.
tax free too. They don't have to
Oh,
don't have any jobs or income or anything. They just go out and get their own food.
well, there's something weird with the Russian government because
Oh, there's a lot of fucked up things about the Russian government.
they have to give some of their hunted like furs and meat to the government and like that's like their tax. That's their like living tax, their income tax. They're like it's they fucking tax their hunted material. It's so
That's weird.
fucked up. Yeah,
It's
but
amazing our government nowadays just wants to take everything from us. Just all governments in general, not just ours, but
I
it
feel
seems like
like there's so much of that sooner or later there's got to be an uprising. Like
oh, I think there will be an uprising.
I don't know
I, th-
how
I
soon.
think that, yeah, I don't know how soon either. I'm guessing maybe sometime in our lifetime, there's going to be a tea party where America just gets fed up with the government and just
Yeah,
takes them out because they're, I just can't, I just don't
yeah.
know.
No, because there's so much more information that we have access to nowadays
Oh,
that
yeah.
there's bullshit from the government is being less and less easier to hide.
Yeah, like
And
the
so
NSA is totally, they're probably listening right now.
It's also,
I don't really
yeah,
care.
it's also easier for people to congregate and make groups dedicated to, like, bashing or taking down the government. That's
Yeah, that's
just,
true
something
too.
like that has to evolve sooner or later.
Oh yeah, I think it will definitely happen sometime in our lifetime. What are you drinking over there, Wesley?
Water. I
Water.
need it for my throat, man. It's hard to
Oh,
talk for this long.
I know. I'm gonna have to get some water too, dude.
Actually, yeah, I recommend.
Water is life. Like our whole world is covered in like 70% water, if I'm correct
Dude,
on that.
tell me about it, man. Like, I have upped my water drinkage over the
That,
last, like, month, like, at least 25%.
and I
And
bet you feel a ton better, huh?
I feel 5,000 times better. I've never
Dude.
had this much energy or just
Hmm.
cleanliness in my body.
And if you drink, what I've heard is if you drink a tall glass of water before bed, and right when you wake up, you'll remember your dreams better.
No
And
fucking way, dude.
yeah, dude,
You will not. Okay, guess what? I keep a dream journal, right? I've kept a dream
that's
journal over the
awesome.
last, like, a few months, right?
Hmm.
Over the last month, I've had insanely higher frequencies in my dream journal, like literally like at least 3 times a week now. That must be what's causing that, just the water.
That yeah, it's like a reaction in your brain, I guess. It's like it kind of knows when you're going to bed and when you're getting up from the Lord. I don't know exactly all the details, but just drinking. I drink about I don't drink as much as I used to, which I need to pick it back up. But
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
drink about a gallon of water a day, and just flushes out all your toxins, and it just makes you feel so much better. Honestly,
I never used to believe that until I just it kind of hit me one day like, okay, if
water.
if our cells are mostly made up of water, what do you think they're gonna need to, like, regenerate more easily and become
And
healthier?
rebuild the blood cells and all that stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
and oh yeah, I heard something interesting about blood the other day.
What?
If you get your blood drawn, it completely, like, almost sets your tolerance to back to down to zero for
Oh,
cannabis.
really?
Yeah, because it's like all the THC, all the leftover is just in your blood, right?
Uh
So
huh.
take your blood out and have your body make
Well,
more
it's
blood.
it's not taking all of your blood out though, right? Only like
Well,
a
yeah,
pint or something like that.
it's like most of it. Oh, I'm gonna add Zach to the call. Actually,
Oh,
yeah, I can. Cause he's gonna join the podcast.
I'm down.
Zach, yeah, Zach's gonna get in here. Wait, so what were you talking about?
Oh, I was talking about they only take about a pint of your blood, so it's not taking all your blood, but it's
Right,
creating new blood. I can
right.
understand how it would lower your tolerance.
Yeah, it's
I'm gonna start donating a bunch of blood.
if you do it enough, it'll have a pretty good effect on your tolerance. Hey,
See,
Zach.
that's the thing. Oh, hey, Zach.
So,
We have started the podcast. We're about 14 minutes in. Would you like to say something?
hi, I guess.
All right,
All right.
back on the subject.
So we were
So what
just
we were
talking
talking about?
about
Yeah, you tell him,
blood
Wesley.
and water, and how water helps your body just feel great and become one with the earth and the universe.
Water's
And we're
pretty
also
essential for your body.
talking about blood and how when you go and get blood drawn out, you create new blood, and your tolerance to THC is significantly decreased.
Yeah.
I was totally unaware of that.
I was
Yeah.
too, actually, until Wesley brought that up.
I saw it on the subreddit for trees yesterday, so
Nice.
thought I'd share that.
Talking about trees
Interesting.
and trees. I get it.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to switch topics to
I'm down.
movies. Movies that are recently coming out.
Movies? Oh, I cannot wait for the sequel to 300.
Oh, how soon is that? I didn't even have it
I
on my
think
list.
it's coming in March or something like that. Late
Wow,
March.
really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Either March or May. I am so excited.
Well, if it comes in May, I'm literally gonna shit my pants because there's so much good stuff coming out in May.
Dude, Okay, I don't know if you have this on your list, but do you have the Dumb and Dumber sequel?
What?
Yes, with Jeff and
Jim Carrey
Jim
and
Carrey and Jeff,
I
whatever his name is,
yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Jeff Daniels.
Yeah. Wow, I
Yes,
can't believe he
that's
agreed to
in.
it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be happening late this year, like October or something like that.
That's dope.
I know.
That's gonna be awesome, because Jim Carrey, I haven't seen him in a lot of stuff lately.
Oh,
So that'll
dude,
be interesting.
and it was the best. I mean, they tried to come out with a Dumb and Dumber or Dumber and
Oh
Dumberer.
yeah, I saw that.
That was stupid.
That was horrible.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But if that 300 movie is coming out in May, then there'd be a lineup for Godzilla,
Is it what?
302, and then X-Men Days of Future Past all in May.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
That's gonna be a crazy month for movies.
I'm kind of excited for the. Oh, sorry, say that. What were you gonna say, Zach?
No, I just said that will be a crazy month.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm excited for the new Hercules movie with The Rock to come out.
Oh, yeah, the
Wait,
Hercules
Dwayne
movie with
Johnson?
The Rock.
the new Hercules movie? Didn't they
Yeah.
literally just release one like weeks
Yeah,
ago?
no, yeah, but
Are you
there's
talking
another
about
one.
that one?
No, there's
No,
another one.
it's called like
Another?
Yeah,
Yeah.
another one.
Well,
I
that's
don't
not a very
know.
wise marketing strategy.
I know, right?
Well, no, they're just releasing another RoboCop soon
Yeah, I
too.
saw
Really?
that. I saw
Like
that.
they're just remaking all the old movies.
Yeah, that's
Although
right.
the thing with like remakes of movies, if like the technology for movies can advance so fast, they can really afford to make remakes, and actually, if it creates something new for the viewer to appreciate about the movie, it kind of justifies it then.
I guess so.
But
I think this is a pretty kind of rickety market, though. I mean, if viewers get burned a couple times with remakes that aren't good, they're gonna stop going to see remakes.
yeah,
That's true.
I
Look at
don't. Yeah. Go
okay.
ahead.
Well, that brings a great point to like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, dude. The first two were really good, and then after that, they've gone downhill and downhill and downhill. Like the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D, I was not impressed at all. And like that, you say it creates a bad, like if they have a bad experience and it keeps getting worse. I probably won't go see another remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre just because I know it's probably going to be bad again. Unless I hear reviews saying it was freaking awesome, then I'll go see it. But
well, it all has to do with who directs it, and if they decide to put kind of a new twist or use some sort of new technology to enhance the movie past what it used to be.
okay, yeah.
I mean,
Kind of like how they put the 3D in. But
yeah, I mean,
it's
I think
still
that's what they were
though,
going for. It just,
yeah, that's true.
3D also, they have to read the market. 3D is not really that big of a deal to a lot of people if they really paid attention to what people wanted.
Especially since like a lot of the 3D movies out there they aren't really even that 3D anymore.
It's
Like when
not,
the 3D first came out, I was like, holy shit. And now it's more like of a depth perception than actually coming out at you.
it doesn't actually enhance the movie at all.
I
Like,
don't think
it doesn't
so.
make it a better movie experience. It
I
just
definitely
gives me headaches, and it's stupid.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to spend twice as much money to go see a couple images pop out.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's just not worth it anymore.
It's not.
The last movie that I saw in 3D was The Hobbit. And I've seen that now like 4 times, and absolutely no different in 3D versus regular. Though
Okay.
I do have to give credence to Avatar, because that movie in 3D, they did a good job. But I don't
didn't
see
see
enough
the 3D.
movies. I don't see enough movies, so I can't speak for every 3D movie that's come out, but most of the time I'm disappointed, Avatar being the exception.
Right.
That's true. I see that my mom and dad, they have a 3D TV in the living room. And I mean, we honestly don't use it that often. But when we do use it, I don't find it like that much better. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, I definitely feel that the TVs are better than the movie theater 3Ds though.
Sometimes.
Like,
Just because
Yeah.
companies like that can spend all their time on making it 3D instead of trying to create content to make 3D. So
okay,
it's
tell me.
usually a lot better.
So my mom and dad and me, we watched the Jurassic Park.
Hell yeah.
You especially, you'd like really think there'd be a lot of pop outs. There wasn't one pop out.
No way.
Not one.
Not
It
the
was
T-Rex
just
fucking jumping through the gate
nope.
going like,
It was literally only depth perception. That's all it
dude,
was.
if I could get some 3D Jeff Goldblum in my life, that would be so amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Like, he's such a good actor. I love his long, just flowing hair in that movie. It's majestic when he's like, just walking around with his leather jacket. He's like, being a badass. He didn't do enough movie appearances.
Which movie was that?
Jurassic Park. Jeff
Oh,
Goldblum.
sorry.
He was
Sorry, I couldn't
he was
think
that
of it.
one. I don't know his name of the movie.
I know what you're talking about. The main character?
No.
No, that wasn't
It was the wow. No, I totally know his name. He was like the hacker dude. He was like
Oh, okay, the bigger plump dude.
the guy who like ran out of the car with the flare
Yeah.
after the first guy ran out of the car with the flare to try and distract him, and then he got like his leg broken or something.
Nope, I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't seen that movie in a while, man. I mean, I wasn't really paying attention. I just wanted to see some 3D.
Where them dinosaurs at? No.
Exactly. Dude, okay, on to the subject of dinosaurs, now that we're talking about dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs.
Okay, I just don't understand how scientists, I know they say there's dinosaurs and everything, but how do they know exactly what they looked like?
Skeletal.
How do they know all those bones go exactly to that other bone like that, though?
Well, they spent long periods of time, basically like jigsaw puzzles, just trying to put it together. I mean, their anatomy is somewhat similar to animals, maybe not all animals these days, but I think they know enough about anatomy that they can probably make a pretty accurate guess. Though I'm sure there is some small percentage chance that they may have made a mistake.
There's also very few ways bone structure can fit together. So if they tried putting these bones together, usually they'll get it right because those bones wouldn't be able to reassemble in any other way.
Well, the bones don't actually assemble together, though. It's not a Lego piece.
Yeah, they do.
Bones are kind of like that, though. They
I mean,
fit together
some bones, but like,
pretty well.
think about it. Like, some of your bones, they don't even touch the other bone. They just kind of like, they're there, but the tissue and everything forms together.
Tendons.
But another tendons, muscles. But the thing is like, how do they know what color these dinosaurs were? They claim to know everything like that.
Right.
Too. No, that too. Like,
they kind of base it in terms of where the dinosaurs found, what the vegetation would have looked like in that area, and they kind of base if the animal's in that area, it's usually its skin is kind of camouflaged with the natural environment, just because of natural selection, evolution of the dinosaurs. A lot of animals figured out how to camouflage themselves to protect themselves in the wild.
Now, when you say camouflage, do you mean like as in they change colors, or they would grab some leaves to camouflage themselves?
Neither. Their skin is just, they moved to that area because their skin matched the natural environment, and they can successfully hide with more success just because their skin is just matches the natural environment by chance.
Okay.
Some dinosaurs were so advanced that they haven't even changed very much. Like the sharks. Sharks are an example. Like they were existing. I think I may be wrong here, but I think they were bigger back in those times. I may be wrong there. I feel like I've heard that somewhere.
Yeah, but, Megalodon.
Okay, that sounds right.
Huge ass shark that just lived back in the day.
But yeah, I mean, some
so were sharks dinosaurs too that just survived?
Yeah, they are dinosaurs.
Yeah.
What?
They're just smaller versions of things that looked very similar to it in the past. Just because. What?
What do you mean?
Sharks never had to evolve past they reached a peak in their evolutionary chain that didn't necessitate them to changing in physical form at all. So they look exactly like they did billions of years ago, or
Okay,
millions.
so what killed the dinosaurs then? I thought it was the
It was
Ice
a
Age.
meteor.
I thought it was the Ice Age.
I think it's probably a
Mm,
combination of both.
The meteor hit the
the
Earth and
meteors,
made
yeah,
cause an
kind of.
ice age. But if an ice age, then everything would freeze and the sharks wouldn't be there.
If
The
you
oceans didn't freeze in the ice
right,
age.
no, if like this is basic chemistry, the buoyancy of ice is just all the ice automatically flows to the top of the water, and it comes to a point where it doesn't freeze through completely
Okay, that makes sense.
because
I
it
kind of
creates
I kind of
enough of a
sound stupid
heat
on this
shield.
podcast, but it's all good.
Yeah, yeah.
No, dude, I literally just learned that in chemistry class.
That makes sense, though. I
Wow.
guess.
Yeah,
High school's a great system. I
it's
failed
basically
chemistry, still graduated.
ice is basically the evolutionary trait that water developed, I guess, the molecules of water developed so that it could protect itself from death, natural survival.
Okay.
I feel like water is one of those things where they actually. I might be completely not remembering this right, but isn't water something that we don't know? We know quite a bit about it, obviously, but as far as like why it does what it does and why it's there, why it exists, is that
I know I
known?
don't know that.
I think it's just
maybe I'm wrong.
it's the basic building blocks to all life pretty much, and there's just a lot of it because there's competition for certain structures of all these molecules, like humans and plants and whatnot, and it just kind of competes with the water and works in symbiosis with it. I have no idea what I'm talking about.
See,
Okay, well,
one thing that. Okay, go ahead, Zach.
I was just gonna say, future reference science questions go to Wesley because he knows what he's talking about.
Science
Yeah.
questions for me?
Science questions go to
There for
Wesley.
you.
Alright. No, yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually just gonna... Wow. I was definitely gonna...
He's gonna request that all scientific questions go.
Wow. No, I had something.
I say that I think what I've always thought was pretty amazing about water is that no matter what you put it in or around, it always shapes to that. Like, if you put it in a glass, it shapes to the glass. If you put it in a teapot, it shapes to the teapot.
Well, okay, what's weird, I believe that has something to do with
Shapeless.
gravity.
It's shapeless.
I believe gravity has something to do with that. Like, literally, if you look at scientific studies about gravity, you'll realize that gravity is something that we still have no idea why it's there. Because if the Earth is covered in atmosphere and is creating a gravitational effect, what is the universe made out of that is making that happen? We don't
exactly like how is it possible that the Earth can rotate around the sun every 365 days? And it just happens like that every 365 days.
And what's causing that? What in the universe is causing these balls of shit to just float in infinity?
Did you just refer to the Earth as a ball of shit?
I'm referring to everything as a ball of shit. That's what gravity forms everything into naturally. Unless you're talking about like galaxies are just balls of shit rotating around other balls of shit.
Okay, I mean,
it's weird that the natural gravitational structure of everything in the universe is a ball of gas and hydrogen and water.
Technically, yeah. It's more of a sphere than a ball, but yeah.
Right. A ball's just a funky term we came up as early humans tripping on mushroom.
Probably. Just like you used to think that the Earth was flat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much shit. The universe is.
All right. How about this? Do you guys believe in aliens?
Okay, I actually did a rant about this in my Solar 2 video.
Okay.
I have a pretty solid view on this.
Okay.
Alright. aliens, they 100% exist. If
Okay.
you take into account the endless stretches of our universe, what stars we can see in the sky right now just leads down infinite paths of universes beyond galaxies, beyond solar systems, beyond planets, infinitely forever. If you take the odds of the molecules of the universe
Question.
coming together, wait 1 minute, coming together and creating an atmosphere very similar to Earth's, which is not even that hard for a galaxy to do, because you just have to find that sweet spot, and just, if something falls in the right place for that sweet spot, it generates life. It may not even be like us, but it's life nonetheless. It could just form into some kind of crazy different life form that is able to be classified by our standards as an alien. I mean, isn't everything an alien? But
Technically,
anyways,
yes.
we, even if some kind of intelligent life form developed the technology or had the means to look at other planets far, far away and galaxies far, far away, then when they saw us, they wouldn't even be compelled to contact us. They wouldn't want to come in contact with us and try and communicate with us and learn about us. They wouldn't even care. They'd be like, oh, it's another one of those Earth things. Let's just keep on going. Earth is probably, the life forms that we are probably so common in the universe. If aliens came across us, they probably wouldn't even give a shit. They'd just go along their way trying to find the bigger picture of the universe. So whether
Are you saying
aliens...
they don't see us as an intelligent life form?
No, I'm saying that they have bigger problems to deal with, or they have bigger things to think about than what we are as humans. And aliens definitely do exist, but I don't believe they've come into contact with us. And if they have, it's just left over from the billions and billions of other lifetimes that Earth has probably habitated. And because if you look at, I was talking with Zach earlier, and if you look at the underwater structures that they're finding now, and just the pyramids and
Okay, that's a
the
whole nother
pharaoh,
subject, the pyramids, oh my god.
then it's pretty obvious that we were something else in the past. We just don't know what. We could have been aliens. So what if we are the aliens?
As far as aliens, assuming that, you could assume many different scenarios, but if the aliens were, I'm kind of with you, Wesley. I think that the odds are just too unlikely that there's not at least some other forms of life out there. But if these aliens, if we were the first species they encountered, I doubt they wouldn't make contact. And even worse for us, is if they saw themselves as some sort of police force to the galaxy, or police force to the universe. Like a police force like the United States has played throughout history.
Okay.
Just kind of like going in where they find a problem. And being honest here, if aliens were to look at our society, we would be so fucked. If they had WMDs on those fucking ships, we are eating ourselves alive as far as the planet. We are a parasite on this planet.
Oh yeah, we are destroying our own planet as we know it.
And if they thought it was the right, they were doing the right thing, they could very easily come wipe us all out.
But that leads to a whole other question: is if there is aliens, how intelligent are they?
Well, I think we're assuming that they're making it to Earth, so they're spacefaring. Their technology is beyond ours.
Far beyond ours. Yeah. If they've made it to our planet, yes.
Okay.
See, I'm kind of on the fence about it. I feel like it could go either way. We could be the only life form, because we could be maybe the only life form that has advanced as far as we have. I wouldn't say that we're the only living thing, because obviously there's other planets out there that have, like you said, Wesley, our planet has created an environment where it can grow things. I feel like there's another planet out there that has I don't know exactly how far advanced or how evolved they are, but there's probably something living out there. But as far as like they communicate to each other, and that's what I don't know yet.
Yeah, I'm just gonna throw a theory out there.
Okay.
Um, shit. This no, this was like the best theory ever. Um, so I think some kind of race like us that may be more advanced, less advanced, whatever. If we are developing these nuclear weapons that are able to just completely
Destroy cities upon cities.
destroy and make parts of our planet literally uninhabitable, if that kind of technology develops and we're able to just harness all the energy of the sun and point it at it in a single beam of power at a planet, it would probably end up just going straight through it and like blowing it up. That's we're discovering molecules that we can force to be like to weigh tons and tons and tons, and so we can literally just make blocks of this stuff, throw it at planets at their cores, and just blow them up. If other races aren't other races obviously aren't going galaxy to galaxy, blowing galaxies up with their nuclear power.
Let's hope not.
So, are we becoming the most advanced life form in the universe as far as we know?
I doubt it.
I
I doubt
mean,
we're the most advanced, but we're
we
certainly
don't.
advancing. I mean, technology is advancing at an insanely fast rate these days.
Insanely
I
fast.
don't think we're gonna be coming up with like planet cracking weapons anytime soon, but we do have the ability to destroy the world with nuclear weapons, or not. I don't know if we could actually manage to blow up the Earth in the matter that you're speaking, and that it explodes into a bunch of tiny fragments. But I mean,
Right.
we have the potential for nuclear winter hundreds of times over, I think, and I
Well,
mean
Yeah.
if you
that might as
destroy the
well
core of
destroy the
any
Earth
planet,
because
See, that's his point though, is if there is some other life form out there that is more advanced than us, then that means that they could have stumbled upon this. Like
they
in
already
order
be
to,
doing this shit.
yeah, that's what he's saying. But like I don't know. That's why it just I'm kind of on the fence about it at the same time.
Yeah, we just don't know anything about the universe at this
I
moment in
th-
time.
I think that there might be something out there, but nobody knows for 100% fact right now.
Yeah, for sure.
well, I I mean, unless like Roswell or anything like that was
I really hope
real,
that's real.
then we would, yeah, nobody would have any way of knowing. And if anybody knows, the government is the only.
Yeah. Which government
Yeah.
though? The Russians?
No, well, Roswell was here. I actually am very uninformed as far as like other parts of the world and UFO sightings and things like that.
Right. I'm very not knowledgeable about
Very not knowledgeable.
the
Great grammar there, Wesley.
the conspiracies about alien contacts. It seems to be something that's real in a lot of people's minds, so why not? You know.
So back to that pyramid thing.
Yeah.
That brings up a whole other thing. That's part of me that makes me believe that there are aliens because
Oh yeah.
the pyramids, if you think about how insanely huge those things are, each one of those bricks is like a ton to like a ton and a half is what I believe. And they traveled with those stones 500 miles from where they were cut. And there is so many stones. It says it in history books. My girlfriend actually showed me that she learned in class that it would have taken them, if they would have placed 3 stones every day, it would have taken them, I can't remember exactly how long, but I think it was like thousands of years. Thousands and thousands of
I
years.
mean, it could possibly have been that long too. I
Or
mean,
How many
it's
people would it
interesting.
take, though, to move those 500 miles a day with a ton and a half? That is a lot of manpower. To think of
Yeah,
that's
having to get your grandkids and great grandkids to keep carrying it out.
well, do you know the theory about not the theory, it's they found rocks in the pyramids from quarries that were 500 miles away from that point.
That's what I'm saying, where they were cut.
Right.
That's what I just.
It only adds another layer on if you take Joshua Graham, or not Josh. Why did I say Joshua Graham? Graham Hancock's theory. Well, not his theory. I think they proved it. Didn't he say that the
He
pyramids
has
actually were built from the top down?
he has
Which
very
just like
he has a lot of evidence. I'm not sure they proved it yet.
Top down.
okay, yeah, essentially top
How
down. I
how do
mean,
you
yeah, that's
how?
the question. How? I
Holy crap!
mean, that takes like the whole any possibility where you're like,
Of
well,
manpower.
if you get enough manpower and a bunch of slaves, it's still an amazing feat. That just like fucks it, turns it upside down. Okay, well, top down. How the fuck does that happen?
It doesn't.
Yeah.
That's the thing is that there's no technology that we even have today that could do that. It's even thousands and thousands of years after they were built.
Yeah, dude, it's fucked. I
That's
wish
what
we had that
makes
shit.
me. That's what makes me partly believe that aliens built this. Or like Joe Rogan said one time, he said that we were insanely advanced at one time and we got insanely stupid, and now we're starting to get smart again.
I mean,
Well,
it's
that's
possible
for
for the entire surface of the planet to be just eradicated while we still maintain orbit around the sun. So slowly our civilization can just be rebuilt from single cell organisms all over again.
Yeah.
Like we literally have no idea how old the Earth is.
No, nobody does.
don't they have don't archaeologists or geologists like have a pretty rough estimate?
Right, but
I
that's
feel like that
no.
they claim it. I don't think
Oh,
that
are
they
you
actually
talking about
know.
like for sure?
This is what I read once. Yeah, don't worry about it. So you know how this is actually drawing from my experience of solar too. Um, as planets just float in space, asteroids are constantly hitting it, right? Asteroids are replacing chunks of the Earth, hitting them out back out in the universe and replacing it. Is that fair? How a bunch of asteroids add, if they're little enough impacts, they add to the mass and the atmosphere of the planet. Well, that the Earth is probably just years and years and like billions and billions and billions of years of just asteroids hitting this mass, and like it like a large portion of its mass could be just completely eradicated by an asteroid, but then it could be slowly built back up. And so this ball that this gravity is forming is just a collection of all these different asteroids,
So are you saying
and it's
billions of
pretty
years
much
ago?
it's pretty much impossible to tell how old the Earth is when every, millions and millions of years or so, our planet is just completely replaced in mass by other asteroids. So it's almost impossible to tell the origin and year or age of anything in the universe.
So are you saying billions of years ago our Earth was way smaller than it is today?
It could have been much bigger, but it got hit by a huge asteroid and got much smaller mass, and then gravity and asteroids kind of formed it into a ball again, and it kind of just was born anew in the same without getting knocked out of the sweet orbit. I mean, it's very well possible that Earth was out of this sweet spot orbit at one point, but got hit into the sweet spot orbit by an asteroid
Okay.
and was just completely colonized. And so, as long as we're in the sweet spot, we can just be ever changing, and we could have had millions of other civilizations that we don't even know about.
That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
That's a good theory. I see your point.
Solar 2 is great.
Asteroids are just scary as fuck, though. I mean,
Right.
I feel like it was like a year ago or something, wasn't there? Or maybe not. No, it was probably about a year ago. Wasn't there that asteroid that came. I mean, it didn't come relatively close. It was like long ways away, but still, as far as like astronomical proportions, it came very
It
close to Earth. And if it would have hit us, it would have like
done some
that would have
damage.
been the end of Earth. It would have caused
An ice age
catastrophic
because it
damage.
would have hit us out of the orbit of the moon and everything.
Yeah.
Well, I know that it was it. I don't know if it would have destroyed Earth or it would have just been catastrophic, but I feel like that happened just like during the middle of the night here at least. Like we just
Yeah,
slept right through that, and that could have ended the world. I mean, asteroids
See,
are a scary concept.
if they would have come into the gravitational pull, it would have been game over.
It's weird though. Like asteroids are just chunks of rock or just molecules that are packed so tightly together. They have like titanium on them. Sometimes there's just titanium asteroids, and there's just all these resources flying through space, hitting all these little planets and other other galaxies, and it's the whole God, like the universe is just the one thing that just fucks my mind every single time.
Okay, here's one thing that will fuck your mind. How does the moon have gravitational pull upon Earth? How?
It's probably just a little asteroid that got hit by a bunch of asteroids that stuck onto it, ended up forming into a ball, and got into the orbit of our planet, and just started revolving around it.
Yeah.
No, but how does it have
exactly what happened.
No, how does it have gravitational pull upon our Earth? Because
it entered the very tip of our atmosphere at such the right precise moment that it was pulled in to the in circulating.
No, that's not what I'm saying. The moon has gravitational pull upon our Earth. If you move it away, the ocean, the waves of the ocean.
Right, because it's just big enough to have its own gravitational pull that the Earth is just very slightly moving around. Because it's just big enough. Its mass.
Well, technically, the moon moves around our planet,
but our Earth also moves very slightly around the moon.
Okay, I kind of see you.
Yeah, no, physics.
So it has
extraordinary.
does it have a gravitational pull? Because I've seen pictures.
Its mass. Its mass has.
It's got enough mass.
Just heavy enough to have a very slight gravitational pull on other planets.
But I'm confused, man.
I hope that we answered your question. I'm still trying to figure out if I even heard your question correctly.
I just feel weird because the astronauts, when they go on Earth, I mean, yes, they float, but they come back down, so there is a slight gravitational pull on the moon.
Wait. Oh, yeah.
On the moon, because you know how they bounce up and down.
Yeah. There's an atmosphere.
It's slight, but is that enough to travel that far of a distance to have pull upon the ocean's waves?
Yeah, I mean,
I would think so.
Yeah, the moon. That's
It moves and shakes the Earth enough to move the very loose molecules in water around. Yeah.
I just feel that if it had that strong of a power to reach that far of a distance, then your body on Earth your body on the moon would have more gravitational pull than that.
Well, no, because the molecules in water are very, very, very loose.
Yeah, but they weigh a lot still, though.
Well, not the consistency of water itself. Like, the water isn't getting pulled into the universe. It's staying there. It's just getting moved around because of just the nature of water itself is very free flowing, and you said it shapes around anything that it comes in contact with. So it doesn't move us as people just because we're a lot more solid objects and our molecules aren't moving around all the time.
Okay. Kind of understand what you're saying. Makes sense.
Space is very interesting. Astronomy is very fascinating.
I can see you on that. It is. Well, I think that I'm gonna call it a night.
Dude, that was a solid 48-minute podcast.
As far as one thing we were talking about earlier, I've had this page pulled up for quite a while. A NASA Discovery program designed to look for possible life-supporting planets. In the first 16 months of operation, Kepler has discovered 2,326 potential planets. Once confirmed by follow-up studies, these potential discoveries could significantly raise the tally of exoplanets, planets outside our solar system, well over its current count of 702. Those are potential life-supporting planets.
Wow.
I mean,
that's cool.
Yeah, I mean,
like Wesley said, though, there is an insanely high amount of solar systems upon universes upon planets
not universes, support it. Yeah.
Well,
Hey, maybe
you know
universes,
what I mean.
man.
Galaxies.
Yeah.
Galaxies, I think, is what you were looking for.
Hey, you
I mean,
never know,
The
man.
term universe is everything. That's what it entails, is like
We never know.
everything.
There could be more.
Unless
of
you're talking about different dimensions, in which case I believe that statement would be true.
the 11th
Which
dimension, dude.
Dimensions themselves are a whole nother
That's
crazy
an
topic we could get
insane
into.
topic.
One that I would definitely need to research more before I started going off about it. 'cause
Right,
I
yeah.
do
That could
not
be another
know
topic for a next
very
podcast.
much.
There's actually a lot of evidence for other dimensions, but I need to research, obviously.
Yeah,
I
will
will.
definitely
How about we all research it and then we have a little discussional topic on it?
Alright, we will do that. Perfect.
Is
Alright.
Jordan heading out?
Yep, I got work in the morning, so
Yeah, man.
Are you and me, Wes, are we staying in this, or are we?
Connor seemingly got very, very high and is trying to log into Skype and join us. So,
Fuck Skype. I'm really
alright,
surprised.
I'm out, guys.
alright.
Later.
Good night.
It was a good one. Thanks.
Yep, I want to listen to it. I want to get details on how to
Perfect.
listen to the podcast and everything.
I will link it to you on Facebook.
I don't have Facebook, but
I will link it
Twitter.
to you on Twitter.
alright, thank you, man. Follow me on the dig.
Yeah.
Peace out, guys.
Later. I need to get more into the Twitter sphere because that seems like it's becoming a big thing now.
Twitter is actually just
Twitter.
an entirely different world on its own. It's such a beautiful economy that they've created with just the social networking. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like, well, I mean, I'm pretty sure this is very much proven that social media just, they rise and they fall. It's like, I think just as kids, like teenage kids, get used to them and they enjoy them. But then as soon as they're one-upped by something else, it's just, they just start dying again. I mean, it's crazy. I grew up in a not very sheltered home, but I had a very paranoid mother who thought that I was going to get molested by like child rapists if I had a MySpace. But so I never had one of those, but I was there to witness the rise and fall of MySpace.
Right, yeah, it's insane.
That was replaced, I believe, by Facebook.
Hello.
Hello. Now
Facebook Connor, turn off the music. It's copyrighted. La, 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 la. Okay. We are live, actually, Connor.
We are live.
Facebook
with
replaced. Facebook replaced
Jordan.
Yeah.
I replaced Jordan.
Yep.
He was here for about 50 minutes. We are now continuing.
We are debating or talking about social media and its rise and fall. Did either of you have MySpaces?
I did.
I had MySpace for a very small amount of time.
So essentially, I believe it was Facebook is what kind of one-upped MySpace. What were some of the changes? I saw some friends on their MySpace pages. It seemed to have like music that you could put on there.
MySpace was beautiful. It was a beautiful site. It basically birthed.
It actually seems like a whole different beast from Facebook. I mean, what do you think? What do you think was the reason why that died? Facebook flourished?
Okay, MySpace was a lot more customized for the customer. Facebook is a very standardized. It is a very bland
basic template.
Yeah, it's a very basic template. It appeals to a larger audience. MySpace is so much more customizable and specialized towards each different demographic and niche in the social media just world. And so it kind of had to carve out a niche of its own and find its demographic. But it had like, it was tight, dude. It had like, you could customize and put images on like your backgrounds and templates for
I saw
like
some
your
of that
message
stuff.
boards, and you could have music, and the profile pictures was just like this new concept that people were doing, and it was hot, dude.
Yeah, I remember everybody had MySpaces, and I wasn't even allowed to have Xbox Live, so
Dude, my dad,
yay for childhood.
he wouldn't let us have a MySpace or a Facebook unless we said that we were over 18 on there.
Yeah,
Interesting. Huh.
It's
Yeah, well, I never use the shit anyways, so I
Yeah,
never.
I mean, I made a Facebook and pretty much used it for like probably like 2 weeks pretty heavily, and then I was like got pretty bored of it pretty fast. I feel like I might have gotten a lot more into MySpace because there was a lot of customization.
yeah, it's fun.
Maybe not. I
It's
don't
fun.
know. I don't know if
But
I can really get into too much social media as far as that
it's
stuff.
becoming a lot more useful of a tool as we move into the future. Just
Yeah,
the
that's true.
connectivity of the human race.
Yeah, that's true. I actually used Facebook today to talk to, I guess you don't know who she is, but Connor, I was talking to Anna on Facebook. I haven't seen her in
Yeah.
forever, and I would have had really no other way of communicating with her, but we got to catch up. I mean, that happens a lot with people. I mean, I guess essentially the catch for Facebook. I don't know what MySpace. It sounds like it was pretty cool, but I mean, I just wonder what's next. I mean, if Twitter's what's next, I don't know. Twitter sounds even more simplified than Facebook.
Twitter has been and will continue to be an evolving powerhouse in the social media world just because it is constantly innovating and becoming much more streamlined. They have a very loose line between standardization and customization that it appeals to a large audience as well as being specialized for a lot of the new and upcoming markets for media. So it's kind of birthing its own entertainment in itself just because of the people that use it. It's really cool.
Now, feel free to correct me here because there's a very good chance that I'm wrong, considering I've never had a Twitter. But aren't the only features it really has is just making your profile, like you can follow people. I know about that, but you can do that in Facebook, and I assume you probably could in MySpace too. But isn't it just essentially making posts that people like and retweet? Doesn't Facebook have that?
Right,
Your
but
ability to
it's
post,
so
isn't it simplifying itself even more?
Twitter
Is
is
that
so
just
much
the
more
idea?
simplified than Facebook.
Is that just what's happening, that we're getting stupider and we can't handle that stuff anymore? We have to have
It's
more and
not
more
that
simplified social media?
it's not
Well,
that it's
I can't get behind any social media just because of that. Just because of the
I'm
whole aspect of dehumanizing interaction.
right.
I'm kind of with you. I mean, I like social media every once in a while, but it eventually, I mean, when it's really big and it's booming, like back when Facebook was booming, it was actually kind of nice every once in a while to see what all your friends were up to that you haven't seen in a while. A lot of my
Right.
friends from back in Redmond, I would get to see what they're doing, and that was nice. But nowadays, if I go on Facebook, for some reason, it's just people bitching about how their car broke down or something. Nobody gives a fuck. I'm just gonna say it right out. Nobody cares about your problems, and even less so do they want to go on Facebook and see your problems.
Right.
I
Well,
mean,
the thing with like Twitter and Facebook, a lot of people want just basic human nature. People want to feel good about themselves. So they go on Facebook, they put all their, closest or kind of relatively close friends on their friends list, and they kind of like to see what they're up to. And people put very streamlined, short ways of getting what they're up to out to other people. And a lot of people simply just use Facebook so they can feel good about themselves, and they can look at other people and judge themselves as well as the other people on just where they are in life, and they like to compare and contrast themselves with other people just to kind of get a refreshing new view on yourself. So that's the new psychology that's kind of partnered with the social media of our generation, the heavy social media users of our generation.
our generation, man. I'm
That's a
scared.
fucked up. That's a
I'm
fucked
scared.
up.
I gotta pee. I'll be right back. You guys can talk
That's
about.
honey bunches of fucked.
Yeah, I mean, I'm worried for some people. I mean, I even find myself sometimes in conversations and social conversations pulling out my phone to avoid maybe not talking to people, but just pulling out my phone naturally. Can we not? I mean, is that what we're reduced to now? We don't know how to talk to other people. I feel like back in the day, I mean, I can't speak too much because, like I said, I never got too into social media, but like most kids that I know these days, they don't know how to like talk to people of opposite genders or even their own gender. I mean, you can message some girl you like on Facebook or something, somebody you're interested in, and maybe that's not as embarrassing, but I doubt that those same people would go up to somebody in person and talk to them. I mean, we're becoming very based on technology, and depending on your view, that's either a positive or a negative thing. I think I see both positive and negatives, but
Technology's
I don't know.
dope.
I don't think you should dehumanize things like social interaction, like Connor was saying, because that's putting us down a very weird path to be down. I don't know if I want to know what's at the end of that tunnel. Just people don't talk to each other anymore. We all just stand in social circles and text each other, like 2 feet away from each other.
Right.
People won't be able to show emotion through interaction. They'll just be able to, or they won't even be able to do it like through messaging either.
Imagine the entirety of human emotion being just completely transferred to technology. Humans don't even exist anymore. It's such a seamless transition, and everyone just accepts it, and it just slips under our nose for like a couple hundred years. And just humans as we know it today are just a thing of the past.
All right, man.
All right. Talk to you guys later.
Yep, later. Distractions. I lost. Where were we? I assume we were talking about the level of fucked up that our society's in right now.
Well, I was gonna call it at this point, but if you want to go for longer, dude.
How long were you and Jordan going for?
I was just gonna go as long as the conversation could happen.
I mean, we can switch to one more topic if you want.
I'm down for
another. If you want to call it
half hour.
Either way, man. It's up to you. I mean,
yeah, we could. Let's do some just free flowing whatnots.
Oh, interesting tidbit is Nathan took some of those mushrooms tonight, or he's yeah.
It's probably too late. Did you?
What?
It's probably, if he took them now, they'd last.
No, he took them earlier.
Oh, tonight?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That'd be interesting to get in on the podcast. Just have someone call in, be like, "Yeah."
Does he have Skype?
He does, but he doesn't have internet, and he'd have to use his 3G.
I don't know. I assume Skype probably sucks the data away.
Right. Yeah, I wouldn't risk it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Maybe some other time. That'll probably be a pretty fun podcast if we ever do that in the future. Do like a special podcast. That would be actually pretty fun.
Yeah, we're gonna have to
coordinate that.
I'm gonna have to get a hold of some more in one way or another. But yeah, I've pretty much got enough left for me, and that'll be the end of my mushroom trips for a while.
I don't get how you kept them for so long, man.
I don't know. Just you gotta wait for the moment to feel right. I mean, you don't want to cross the line of abusing the substance. Not in. I don't know. I mean, as far as it's not a hardcore drug that you can necessarily abuse in the same way, but people I guess use them for different reasons. I know people that do it for the social aspect, and I do get some social aspect out of it, but a lot of I get a lot of deep thinking, especially when I'm by myself.
Right.
And I don't know, the more I do them, the less I get out of it.
I think the last couple times I did them, I didn't wait for that right moment. I just kind of jumped in hoping for something, and it obviously did not pay off. Waiting for the right moment is important.
Yeah.
You gotta wait till it calls out to you, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, nowadays I look back at that period of time where I did them 5 days in a row, and I wonder what I gained from that. And the first night I had a great night. I mean, I went through the regular, revelations, like, we're all one, the universe, man. But it eventually steadily declined into me just kind of laying there staring at the wall, and not in the good way where my mind is somewhere else, more that I'm just like very uncomfortable, not even having those really crazy mind trips, more just a very weird, very strong body high.
Yeah, it's hard to get those trippy visuals a lot because it's kind of, you have to tune into a certain wavelength.
I know
That's
that
a hard one
the
to
most
do.
hardcore visuals I've ever had, and granted I do have a very somewhat limited experience with psychedelics, but salvia, that was very, very interesting. The ceiling that I was looking at kind of had I feel like an idiot because I can't think of how to describe it, but just like drywall on your walls, how it's kind of indented in some areas. It's not a very smooth surface.
It's raised and lowered.
Yeah,
and whatnot.
yeah. That was like casting shadows all across the ceiling, like as the raised parts were raising more and lowering. That was very interesting. I think salvia is a very efficient herb, and
it connects you to
I think it
different frequencies.
has a very bad name to it, and that's simply because I think, and maybe I'm wrong, but because it's legal, it has more of a vibe to it that it's maybe less not dangerous, but less. It shouldn't be. It doesn't need as much caution, and that may be not true anymore because pretty much all I ever taught, whenever I mention salvia to anybody, they freak out. Like, you've actually done salvia? I've heard that's so terrible. It's not terrible, and I will say that with the utmost confidence on this podcast. It is not a terrible herb. It's actually very, very harmonizing, but it, just like any psychedelic, people with psychedelic experience, it's very much about the setting and the time. Salvia is not something you want to do with a lot of people around, not a social setting.
Nature created it for a reason. It's got to be used to reconnect with something natural.
Yeah, it just, if there's any advice I can give to people who want to do salvia, I mean, I'm all for people trying it. Prepare yourself. Definitely prepare yourself, because you're either going to be barely in the room that you're in, or you are going to be up in space somewhere. But you're going to be having a very, very, very strong feelings. And, whew, man, the more people you have, like the first time I tripped on salvia, I don't know if I want to say tripped on salvia, but the first time I smoked salvia, I had a notepad and I was writing down things for future, things that I would change or that I would do differently. And in just giant all capital letters, I wrote less people. And there was only like 6 people in the room, but it was too many. I was looking around. I felt like everybody was staring at me. I was like getting angry about it for reasons I didn't really understand. I'm not usually a very confrontational person. I'm usually very passive aggressive, but there's all these like salvia freak out videos and terrible videos about salvia of people just freaking out, and I think that's a lot because it's legal. You can just get a hold of it, and people that probably don't do much research into it, like the potency of it, you have to pay attention to the extract amount, how potent you're getting it. You have to be ready, just be ready for it. It's a very, very powerful. I think it's a good experience if you do it in the right setting. But
yeah, I personally, that sounds good, but the connection that you have with what feels to me like the universe is when you take mushrooms. It connects you to such a insanely transparent, crazy world that it's so, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just such a serene.
It's really something you can describe unless somebody has done a psychedelic drug before, or maybe they've they've smoked so much weed in one sitting that they can't move their bodies and they're just staring at the wall. Because I mean, apparently, high amounts of marijuana can be equal to a very low dose of psilocybin. I
Yeah.
have never personally gotten to that point, and I've smoked a lot of weed in a single sitting before, so that must be like a crazy amount. But
Well, it's much easier to get in your system with an edible. That's why
that's true. That's true.
if you were to eat a lot of those, which is much more feasible than smoking a lot, it would probably do that eventually.
That's true.
Yeah. But
You can't
yeah,
really
dude.
describe it unless you have done it. I mean, I don't think there's any other way you could describe it because it's not like an earthly feeling. It's not a feeling that you usually feel unless you're talking about the basic emotions in which you will feel happiness or love. I've never experienced a bad trip before or been with anybody who's had a bad trip, but I mean, most of the time it's just love and connection. Connection is a good word for it. And salvia is essentially the same thing. Okay, well, let me rephrase that. As far as the feelings that I get from salvia, it's essentially the same thing, a shorter duration, much shorter. I think I only went like 12 minutes before I started feeling totally normal again. 10 minutes, I think, is the usual amount. 10 minutes, and it's much, much, much more intense. I had experiences before that with psychedelics, and I was probably not entirely ready for it. And I think that's a lot because of the fact that I don't think I gave it the full respect it deserved. I think that I took it not in a social setting, but like I said, in a room with, I think there were 6 people total, including myself. And I wouldn't say that's I'd say that's a social setting, a small get together. And it just didn't feel right. But if it was just me and a sitter, I'm sure I would have had a much, much better time. And also, yes, definitely a sitter. Have a sitter.
Yeah, that's
With
important.
salvia, I think I actually said earlier that if there's one thing I want to get out there, it was something else. But actually, if there's 2 things I want to get out there, and sitter is definitely number 1.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of people that come back from psychedelic trips are striving to hold on to some part of the reality they once knew, the reality that they're most comfortable with. And a lot of people end up picking a token, like say they're tripping and they find a rock on the ground. They're going to hold that rock and make it something significant just because they want to have something that puts them back into the reality they're most comfortable with. They want a sign, what's it called? It's like just something to make them remember the reality
I think
live
I
in.
get where you're
Yeah.
coming from.
And
It's
so
a total
if
ego.
you had
Go
a sitter, that's just the easiest way to be brought back into this world is to have something concrete in this reality.
Even just tripping with your friend, I mean, I think that's significantly safer because some people are obviously gonna say fuck a sitter and gonna go for it anyway. Even just having another friend with you, even if you're tripping, I find to be much easier. Having a connection with another human being. I've even had times where I felt slightly uncomfortable, not like I'm going to traverse into a bad trip, but just a feeling of isolation sometimes when I'm by myself. And I'm very experienced with mushrooms now. I don't worry whenever I trip now, but back in the day, it's a total ego breakdown. You lose everything everything you were used to kind of gains a new perspective, and it's kind of a fight or flight thing. I mean, you definitely, it's tough to embrace it. You definitely want to find a way, potentially. You want to hold on to that, like you were referencing, just you want to find that familiarity.
Mm.
And mushrooms are definitely not something to be, taken lightly. They will take you out of your world for, about five or so hours.
But if you take a little then it's pretty dope to like party to.
Oh yeah, mushrooms. They can. I think there's better things out there to party. Ecstasy being a very,
Right. Well,
very good
it's
party.
the least harmful to your body besides like weed.
But yeah, mushrooms are can be very, a very large social lubricant. I have found myself having deep conversations with people and inanimate objects on mushrooms. An example being a ceiling fan that I
That's
had
awesome.
a light conversation with when we discussed philosophy. And
That's awesome. It kind of connects you to everything.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. That's a big part of it. Connection is a good word to describe a lot of it, if not all of it. I mean, you discover love through connection and empathy. I mean, I wish there was a way for everybody to experience those feelings. I wish there was a way besides maybe a psychedelic trip, because a lot of people are very uncomfortable with that idea.
I had a very, very strange experience the other day. I'm gonna tell you about it. It's over the last couple weeks, I've been having a lot more dreams, right?
Yeah.
Just for some weird reason. Maybe it's because I'm eating better. I'm drinking more water.
Any number of probably both of those would be very large contributors.
But it's a weird feeling when you come out of a dream and it just feels so fucking insanely real.
Dream, yes.
I had a very weird experience a couple days ago. I was in a dream, obviously. I had not completely realized I was in a dream, so I was just kind of watching this happen in a third-person perspective.
That's third-person perspective? Like
I was
not inside of your own body?
I was watching my body, but I wasn't inside of it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I won't go into the nitty-gritty details, because it's kind of...
I mean, if you want to, feel free. I have no objection towards it, but if you don't desire to go into them, then I understand.
Well, like, a thing that, for me, I've never experienced being in any kind of relationship with a girl. I haven't experienced going out on a date or, like, kissing or whatever. My body shuts down and my mind and conversation complex just completely deletes from my brain when I start talking to a girl.
Jelly brain concept.
In this dream, it started out, I was at some party, I was talking with a girl, and the identity of this girl does not matter. And I was doing insanely great for what I think, like, having a good conversation with someone is. I was hitting out of the ballpark. We had a bunch of good chemistry, what I feel like, and it was all going swell. And turns out she wants to sleep with me. So I'm like, okay, sure, this is a dream. Obviously, she's gonna want to sleep with me.
Just kind of skipped, first and second base there, but yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, I guess this is my subconscious at play right here.
No, this is actually a very common thing, especially in lucid dreaming.
We are on our way to my car to go to one of our houses. I don't know. But for some weird, stupid reason, my brain decides that I have to stop by my house first and get a blanket and a pillow because I'm just a bitch. And so I have to stop by my house. That I've constructed this world subconsciously. I obviously don't want this to happen because I always have to check in with my mom before I do anything ever. I go into my house and my mom just starts berating me with questions, right? She's like, where were you? What are you doing tonight? And so I'm trying to do all this while this girl is waiting in my car. And I'm like, okay, well, shit. I hope she doesn't run away. Like, apparently, like, an hour passes, and I go out to the car, and she's gone. And I just feel so so bad. This emptiness feeling, this feeling of getting my hopes so high up for something that I believe is one of the most important things in my life, just getting taken away from me because of some bullshit. And so I wake up the next morning, I go into work, and just coincidentally throughout the day, I'm thinking about it, and then, like, at one point we meet up again, and I'm like, I'm so sorry that happened. I bet I just was completely...
Wait. You met... I lost you somewhere there. You're still dreaming at this point?
Yeah.
Oh, you dreamed that you woke up the next morning and went
to work? Yeah, it was weird.
Okay.
So I wake up the next morning.
I'm back on track now.
I meet up with her again, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. My mom just kept asking questions. She wouldn't let me leave. I'm so sorry. And she basically was like, dude, don't worry about it. And that happens all the time. And she just, like, had such a obvious feeling of, like, acceptance and, like, what I feel like was love. And, like, she actually cared about who I was, and she didn't just want that, like, one night stand. And so the whole point of the story is that I was able to feel something that I've never felt before through a dream. I actually felt like I was feeling some kind of sense of what love is, or what I feel like love is. It was something I've never felt before.
Wow.
I experienced it in a dream, and it was real. I remember how it feels, and just that fact alone, that a dream can produce chemicals in your body to make you feel something that you've never felt before, is such an interesting thing to me.
Wow, that's
pretty much what I experienced a couple days ago.
That's actually, I don't think you could talk to a single guy who's, over 18 years old who hasn't had a dream about some girl or another where, either they're about to get laid or they fall in love or something. Because I know I've been there. I've been there many times in different scenarios. I've never come home to my mom bitching at me, and that's cock blocked me. But
yeah,
but I just the other day when I was telling you, maybe I didn't tell you. I'm trying to remember who I told, and I don't entirely know. When I was having my mushroom trip from what would have been like 4 days ago, I think it was this last weekend, and I laid down as I was in my bedroom, and I realized that the peak was about to come. So I got myself a glass of water, and I laid down on my bed, popped some earphones in, and just like closed my eyes, turned all the lights off. And I thought I was just going to be laying there listening to music, like drifting off into space. But I actually went through a very, very similar thing to you. I don't believe that I've ever met the girl before that I was thinking of, but it was the same sort of thing. Like I felt, especially because I was on mushrooms, that I'd lived like years of my life with this person, and I was very much, I've felt the concept of love before.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. Too.
But I was definitely feeling very strong feelings towards this person. And then, it was mutual. She was feeling the same for me,
right,
in my vision. And then, after all this time happens, after, what felt like years of my life with this person, you become so attached to this person. And then all of a sudden I open my eyes and I think, Kid Cudi's playing in my earphones, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I, look at my phone, and it's been like 2 hours. And I'm like, well, that, fuck me, man.
I don't know what that is. I honestly just can't figure out what that is. Is it just is just your brain is so powerful, or your body is so longing for that feeling that it just chemically creates it in your body just because there's a deficiency of it from your natural surroundings? Like, that seems to be the case.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's weird, dude.
I'm sure
It's
we
weird.
need to get some sort of neuroscientist in here to
That'd be
explain
awesome.
that to us, because I'm sure they have some form of a theory, if they haven't already pretty much figured the concept out. But yeah, I mean, I've had many dreams about different things between, family members getting hurt, or pets getting hurt or dying, or meeting some lovely person that you just have such a connection with in this dream. And it feels like so much longer because you're in this dream. And then, yeah, I know the feeling. You wake up the next morning staring at your ceiling and you're like, fuck me. That was crazy. And none of it matters because it was all just me. Like, you might still be even affected by that scenario. You might still be trying to sift through it all in your head. But, in your case, you walk out in your living room and still have to talk to your family all the same, and you probably never really tell anybody about it because, I mean, it's all you. It's crazy. It's crazy, yeah, how your brain can create those feelings, which are very real. Cool. Thank you for listening. That was everybody who listens is greatly appreciated. I mean, I personally love feedback and just how people feel about it. I'd love for people to explain to me, comment on this YouTube channel. I'll see it one way or another.
Put it in the comments. We'll look at it. The podcast will forever be evolving and changing every single time. Hopefully there won't be a stop in the flow of content coming, hopefully every week.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Thanks.
Life happens, but we'll manage it somehow. Yeah, thank you for listening.
Peace.
Peace out, people. Peace out, Wesley. Peace out, world.